This is the video lesson for Algebra 2, 2.2, direct variation. And this is a specific function where y is just x times a number. So nothing else, just pretty simple. It's maybe your simplest function that you can have besides just y equals x, although that is direct variation because that means k is 1. So it's just y equals some number times x. If you divide both sides by x, you also have y divided by x equals k. Where k is a constant, so it's always the same number, and that constant is called the constant of variation. So the first thing we'll do is just look at these functions and determine if y varies directly with x. That's something you say if it's direct variation. If y varies directly with x, then it's just x times a number gives you y no matter what. And so the best way to check this is to look for a k, and so you're going to use this formula here. So the next in the table, we're going to do a y divided by x, so that would be our k. And if we get the same thing for all three of these, then that means it varies directly. Anytime it's not the same, then k is not a constant, it's not a direct variation. So here we have 2 divided by 1, that's 2. And here we have 6 divided by 3, also 2. Looking good. 8 divided by 4, also 2. So this is going to be a direct variation, yes, because k equals 2. It's a constant. And it says, if so, what is the constant of variation? We got that, k equals 2. And what's the function rule? So the function rule is going to be this y equals k times x. And in this case, our k is 2. So it's going to be y equals 2x. Okay, so let's do that again for this next one. We're going to take y divided by x. Make sure you do y divided by x. If you do x divided by y and you get the same thing, it also means that it's direct variation, but then you'll get the wrong k when you put it in the formula here. So make sure you're doing y divided by x. So in this case, we have 4 divided by 1. That's 4. Here we have 8 divided by 2. Also 4. Looking good. 11 divided by 3. Not 4. We don't actually even care what it is. We just know that it's not 4 because 12 divided by 3 is 4, and so this is not a direct variation. Okay, so we have a couple for you to try on your own. Press pause, try these on your own, and then check back for the solutions. Okay, so the first one is direct variation where our constant is -7, so our rule is y equals -7x. And then the next one, this k is not the same, so it's not a constant. This one was 2.5, this one was not 2.5, so we could have just stopped right there and said, nope, this is not direct variation. Okay, so that was looking at the function as a table. Now we're going to look at it as an actual function. So for each function, we're going to determine if y varies directly with x. And really all we're looking for is, can we put it in the format y equals some number times x? And that's it. There's nothing being added here or subtracted. And then it's just some number, whether it's a fraction or negative or anything, it's just being multiplied by x, and that's it. So we do need to solve these for y. Let's get y alone. So here we have our y on this side, so we need to divide by 3 on both sides. And so y is alone, and then 7, we can write this as 7 divided by 3x. And so that is y equals some number, this number is a fraction, 7/3 times x. It says if it is, so this is yes. And if it is, what's the constant of variation? The constant of variation here is 7/3. So those are our two answers. Okay, so let's do this next one. Same thing, let's get y alone. Let's separate our two sides, highlight our y, and we just need to divide by 7 on both sides. And so we get y equals 14 divided by 7x plus 7/7. So there's going to be this. This ends up being 2x plus 1. And we can see that this is not going to vary directly, right? Y equals some number times x, but then we're adding 1, right? Like I said, there's nothing else over here. So because of this extra adding 1, this means it doesn't directly vary with x. So it's not direct variation. Okay, and so there are 2 down here for you to try on your own. Press pause and then check back for your solution. Okay, so both of these ended up being yes, and they are a good example because you can see it's easy when it's just like a number, like a 2 or an integer, but when it's a fraction, it gets a little confusing. But so here we had to get y alone by subtracting 5x from both sides and then dividing by 3. But we just still, there's nothing over here. Since this was 0, there's nothing being added or anything. This is just a number times x, which is negative 5 over 3. And that's our constant of variation. So yes, this varies directly with x. And then this one is already just written in that form. Remember that x divided by 9, that's the same thing as 1/9 times x. So my k is 1/9. And so it does vary directly with x. Okay, so using this in the next example, if you're told that y varies directly with x, then you know immediately that it's going to have this function, y equals some number k times x. Okay, and they're saying when y is 9, or when x is negative 15, y is 9. So we can figure out what that function is by plugging that in. Let's make y 9. We don't know what k is, but x is negative 15. So in order to solve this, we're going to get k alone by dividing by negative 15 on both sides. And that means k is negative 9/15. We can simplify this by dividing them both by 3. And this becomes negative 3 over 5. Okay, so our function is y equals negative 3 over 5x. And now it's asking, what is y when x is 21? So now we can just plug in 21 into our function. Y equals negative 3/5 times 21. And that is 21 times negative 3 is negative 63 over 5. Or you could write 12.6 if you used a calculator. Okay, so try this next one. It's saying y varies directly with x, so you're going to know it's this form. Use this to figure out your k, and then once you have your formula, figure out what y is when x is 12. So press pause and then check back for the solution. Okay, and so this one, the answer was 60. So k was 5 when you divided 15 by 3, and then when you, oh, I made a mistake here though. I wrote x. It does get confusing with the x's and the k's. They kind of look alike. There's y equals 5x. And then just plug 12 in for x. 12 times 5 is 60. Okay, and then this word problem is saying a salesperson's commission varies directly with sales. So in this case, again, this is my, right, this is y varies directly with x. So in this case, a salesperson commission, that's our y, varies directly with sales. So that is our x. So we can say y equals k times x, where commission is y and sales is x. Okay, so for 1,000 in sales, the commission is 85. So this is basically this problem, but just more word problems. We can say commission is 85, so that's my green, that's my y. And we don't know what k is yet. And then sales are 1,000. And so to get k by itself, we're going to divide both sides by 1,000. And k equals, when you divide by 1,000, you can just move the decimal 3 spots backwards. 1, 2, 3. So this becomes 0.085. You could also use your calculator, that's fine, and you fill in the 0 there. Okay, so our formula for this here is y equals 0.085x. And then this is saying, what's the commission for 2,300 in sales? Remember, sales is my x. So I'm going to plug in, let's find the commission is 0.085 times 2,300. And so it's basically, this means 8.5%. So commission is 8.5%. So 8.5% of 2,300 is 195.5. Okay. All right, and then here's one for you to try with calories and mass of cheese. So see if you can figure out which one's y, which one's x, make your formula, and then plug your in and see if you can answer the question. Press pause and then check back for the solution. Okay, hopefully you got 280 calories. Right, the number of calories varies directly with mass of cheese, so calories is y, mass of cheese is x, and you can set up that. You find k is 4, and then 280 calories. Okay, last thing is graphing. We're just going to use a table to graph these. So what you're going to do is just plug in, just pick 3 values for x. Let's write our table. Maybe in this case, in this graph is set up like this, we can just do, let's see, we have x and then y. So let's figure out what x is. Since this is dividing by 4, let's put it, let's start with 0. 0 is always an easy one. And then let's do 4 and let's do 8. I think I set it up that way. I guess we could also do 12 too, since I set up the picture like that. So what we're going to do is we decide on our x's. So then let's just plug those in. So 3/4 times 0 is just 0. So this point is 0, 0. And we can plot it. And then 3/4 of 4, right? The 4's cancel. So this just becomes 3. So this is 4, 3. And we can plug it in, or not plug it in, we can graph it there. Okay, and then let's plug in 8, 3/4 of 8. 8 divided by 4, that's just 2. 2 times 3 is 6. You can also just use your calculator here. 8, 6. And then let's just do 12 for good measure. We have enough there to graph it, but 3/4 times 12. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9, so 12, 9. And 9 would be up here. Yeah. Okay, and then here's our graph. Get backwards that way. Oops, I didn't make that a straight line, but. There you go. Okay, so there's the graph for that. Okay, and then let's do one more. Again, you just pick your own values of x. I picked these ones in 4 just to make the math easier because we were dividing by 4. But you could plug in whatever you wanted. As long as you have 2 points, you can draw a line. It's always good to have a third just to make sure you did it right. Okay, so for this one, we're just multiplying by -2, so it doesn't even matter. Let's do 0. Let's do a -4, and then let's do a 2. And so 0, when we plug in, -2 times 0 is 0. And then this is always a point on direct variation. So you know you did it right if you get that. -2 times -4 is +8. 2, 4, 6, 8. I didn't even put that on the graph. And then 2 times, -2 times 2 is -4. So that would be down here. Did I get that? Yeah. Okay, and there's your graph. Okay, so just pick 3 values of x, plug them into your function, plot the points, and then draw your straight line. And I don't think I have any for you to try on your own. No. Okay, that's it. Enjoy.